that could work out. So we can explore after the explanation. Okay, would you like to do it?
Thank you very much, Professor Kilnam Chon. Thank you very much. I am Onno, the bad guy. Oh, I should stay over here, right? So I will talk about the technique and strategy to do the teaching, not the cybersecurity, but how to teach cybersecurity, including your questions for children and everything. Okay, we are a group of people from our company. Only 3 of us here. So I'm with Aris. He's not forensic. He's more the ISO 27,000 expert, and Kalpin is more the forensic guy. He worked with sometimes he hired by the bank and so on. Anyway, okay. All of our material can be downloaded from the web, including 3 of my university courses online. The problem is it is in Indonesian. It's free, can be accessed, but it's Indonesian. But if you like, you can talk, and then we can find a way how to translate it into your language. But using Google, we can do that very easy right now. The course is including 6,000 questions. So maybe. Okay, so the course including 6,000 questions banks can be downloaded. If you use Moodle for e-learning, it can be copied very easy. Okay, the presentation we lay out with the objective of the presentation is sharing the pattern and strategies for teaching, sharing teaching experience and technique, and then we have the foundation for discussion basically. Okay. The problem why we do this strategy that we will explain, the problem is most of the Indonesian thing, the IT internet is very sophisticated, and by pressing the button, everything is solved. It's not that way actually. So we have to need to teach those guys. And then everybody in Indonesia mostly think those on the internet are educated people and very nice guy and can be trusted. It's not that way actually. So we need to teach those things. And then most of the people are not administrators, not IT administrators. They are not geeks. They are common people. And there are a lot of things on the internet. We have to tell those guys about this. And then most of the user is very naive about IT operations. So we have to teach these things. And not only common people, we have to teach the admin as well. We have to teach the bureaucrats and leaders. Okay. So there are 3 targets of this training. The end users. It has been done like 15 years and very difficult because we have 250 million Indonesians, 50 million students. So it's very tough. This is very tough. The end users are tough. IT administrator, not that easy as well. The regulator, the most difficult one, because they are the smartest among Indonesians, so it's difficult to teach them. Okay, now at the end user level, okay, there are 2 different initiatives: the common one, the end user one, and the government one. The common people, normally our aim is how to flood the internet with positive content. Okay, that's the common one. For example, we have initiative for internet safety. We call it Internet Sehat. We publish books, we publish video clips, seminar, workshop, and so on. That's your questions on the safety of the young people. So yes, we do that, and also we track down the one who for children who do sexual for children, pedophile. So we track down those people. Yes, we have pedophile case, and we track down those guys, and we finally managed to catch those guys. Oh, this is the common people way. And then we actually providing these websites, providing online course for free for end user. We call it Netizen X, and then people can register for free, and then they do the exam and as well, everything, so they can measure the level of the knowledge about internet safety for free. So we do that for free. The website is cscp.pro, and then the name of the program is Netizen X. So that's for measuring the level of knowledge. Okay, this is the government approach. They are trying to filter the internet from pornographic, from terrorists and everything. And then we have a lot of problem because of that, because the government actually sniffing our traffic. So we have a lot of those kind of problems. And then most of the traffic is right now is secure, HTTPS. And sniffing HTTPS is very, very difficult. So we have this kind of problem right now. Okay. Our biggest challenge is we have 50 million students in Indonesia, 300,000 schools. We only have 44,000 ICT teachers, and 25,000 are certified. So we don't have many IT teachers for that many students. And since 2013, the Ministry of Education removed ICT from curriculum. So we have a big problem right now. So we fight to re-include the ICT into curriculum because this is the most effective way to educate the Indonesian. No other way can be as effective as including ICT into curriculum. We have the material, but we don't have the media to deliver it. So this is our problem right now. Okay. Now, next to the next stage, the operators. We have three different stages: pre-training, during training, and after training. In pre-training, the problem is most of the operators don't have adequate knowledge on technology actually. Okay, so many of them we have to educate first before go to the actual training. During the training, we have a lot of problem. They don't like to hear theory. They want skill, less theory. It's a problem to extend their knowledge later, but that's our problem. And they are lazy in searching material on the web because most of the material on the web is in English. We don't like to read English. Many of us really like to read Indonesians. That's why you may notice the Indonesian in this room, they tend to be quiet because most of you guys speak in English. I tell our secret now. So English is biggest barrier for us because most of us don't speak English. We tend to be okay with Indonesian language. And then during the training session, I normally implement peer pressure among the participants. The peer pressure is I posting the mark, the exam among them because like this is like 6-month process. So I posting the mark and they can do the exam many times because this is e-learning. They can do the exam many times. Okay. Now the dilemma, the problem during training of the cybersecurity. We need to choose whether skill or knowledge. Right now, our decision is 50% skill, 50% knowledge. We at the moment, but to be honest, most of the participants like to see more skill than knowledge. They don't like knowledge. Okay. The other dilemma is if we have a lot of modules, how to staging the modules, or how to can we have to do we have to choose topical topics or jumping around modules. The problem is if we stage like from the beginner for level 1, level 2 and everything, everybody tend to sleep. So sometimes we have to go to the end. What's the end result is, then we move back to the first module. We start from that because that's what happens. If we very strict, they sleep. Okay. The other dilemma is ethical dilemma. We teach cyber security. We teach cyber defense. It's difficult to teach cyber defense if they don't know how to attack. So unfortunately, we have to teach them how to attack, how to do surveillance, how to break the law, how to enter the database, everything. We actually teaching that. We actually breaking the law. and that's really break the law. Okay, but that's no choice. So we have to make a closed system to do those things. But sometimes we do it in live system. Okay. After the training, we create a group chat normally, and we hope this group can be act as incident response team, because we know each other personally. If there is anything happening, we can coordinate very easily. So that's what happened. This can be done. We actually need to set up this kind of thing internationally among countries, because the attack is not only from Indonesia, a lot of attack from other countries as well. Sometimes Indonesia actually attacking other countries. So for example, Australia. There's no Australian here, so I'm safe. It's our hobby to attack Australia I don't know, for some reason. Okay. Now at the higher level for the officials. Okay. The problem with the official, they are responsible, and they sign the policy, they sign the act. That's the problem. And the problem is they don't have any not much technical knowledge. So some of the act may be wrong. Some of the strategies they are taken may be wrong. The problem is they are the most wiser among the Indonesians, and they are the most smarter among Indonesians. So they don't want to be trained. So our approach is discussion. Having discussion, sit down with them and have discussion. So it's different approach altogether. So we sit and discussion. Right now we set up like a WhatsApp group, on chatting group with them, so we can discuss every day. Sometimes, most of the time, we actually done their dirty work. Their staff unable to response if any incidents. We have to voluntarily do the job for them for free most of the time because of our experts. Yeah, that's our okay. Sometimes we're drafting the regulation and so on. Okay. Now, next I will give the microphone to Aris. Aris, he's the information security management system expert. So,
okay. Thanks, Onno. Hello, everyone. Today I would like to share what we have done in delivering the cybersecurity training. Especially the cybersecurity certified professional. So our leader has talked to many persons in the government industry as well as in private companies, and he found that there is a lack between the technical experts and like the regular users or the government officials. At one side, people tend to be very technical. They know how to fix things, but when it comes to the policy and procedures, there is something that they are lack of. On the other side, people okay, this is the theory, this is the policy, this is the regulations, but they really don't know how to configure a system, for example. So that's why the CSCP certification comes in. The scope of teaching covers both technical and the managerial side. So I will cover the managerial side, while Kalpin will talk later about the challenges that he finds during the hacking and forensic training. Okay, the CSCP is first thing is about the giving well-rounded information security concept. So not only talk about the technical, but we cover also on the people, the process, and the technology, and on the physical aspects. And we also talk about the how management system works, because some people only know about this thing, but they really don't know how a firewall how it does fits into the whole system. And then we also introduce the high-grade information security architecture. Since this is an introduction, basically they are introduced on how a system can be configured based on the on the functions, whether it's on the internet, intranet, or extranet. and then based on the access given for the users, for the administrators, etc. Okay. Challenges that we face during the training, barrier in understanding references, like Onno said, that most of references that we have are in English, and it's quite difficult for some people to really understand, let alone that they don't really like to read. Then, the suggestion is like the pre-reading or pre-test prior to taking the exam is one solution that we may have. Understanding the risk assessment process, this is also quite a challenge for people who really don't have like the governance, risk, or compliance background, identifying the assets and then classifying it, and then understanding the inherent risk, what are the vulnerabilities, who or what are the trade agents, and what controls can be implemented, and then the residual risk. That's why we also cover the introduction to the ISO 27002, which is the Code of Practices for Information Security Controls. This 27002 covers both technical and non-technical. This is where what we see is important, that technical persons need to know what are the non-technical aspects of the security. For example, in 20002, we talk about telecommunication security, access control, cryptography, etc. That's the technical aspect. The people aspect, we have like a user provisioning procedures, the provisioning, and then from the process, they have also administrative things. I think that concludes my presentation. Give it Kalpin. Thank you.
No, one more.
Hello everyone, my name is Kalpin. I will take the next session about how to fix hacking and digital forensics. Okay, this is our point. Okay, and first, let's talking about the law and ethical in Indonesia. In Indonesia, there is the undang-undang regulation. Illegal hacking activism is crime. Okay, up to 8 years in jail or fine around 55,000 in US dollar. And the second, providing tools or access code or how to hack is up to 10 years in jail. So this problem in Indonesia. So the solution, yes, the solution in my experience is I always put disclaimer before I present anything in classroom. So in Indonesia, the trainer must put the disclaimer, the regulation, and so on. And secondly, I always ask the students to sign the NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and also the ethical. Okay. This is to make sure they know how to use their knowledge and skill. Okay. And we must explain them, don't try to attack the real system in the internet. So we need to provide the lab. Okay, this is what. Providing lab is a challenge. There is two options. Creating manual or run the cloud island. If you decide to use the manual lab, it takes a long time and reduce tasks. Okay. And secondly, if you want to decide to use the manual lab, then there is some issue. The case is same for all students. So maybe the students can cheat plagiarism amongst the students. So you need to avoid it. So the solution is we need to run the lab. So in my class, I always create a lab in the cloud. Can be in Amazon, Cloudflare, and others. So I create several systems, and then I open to the internet and let the attacker from the internet create evidence in there. So it's like a real system, but it's belong to me. So it's not break the law. Okay. The another issue is about the source of evidence in forensic. There is two issues. If you try to simulate the evidence, there is an advantage for the instructor or teacher. The instructor know what is the evidence, so he can. It's good for the evaluation. Okay. The other option is to buy some evidence from the market. For example, the second-hand SD card, the second-hand hard disk, and second-hand mobile phone, and many more. But the problem is about the privacy issue. Imagine something like that. I found some SD card from the market, and there are some private photos. So it's issue if you separate it to the other students. So it's a challenge. Usually, I always ask the other people to get the second SD card, and then they remove all private contents. That's all. Okay. Now, about the tools to use in the class, there is two options. One is commercial, and secondly is the open source. In commercial, there's an advantage, more tools to be used. For example, Encase and Silverite. In mobile forensic, they provide the obsolete cable. Okay, but in open source, you must find it manually. You can, yes, of course, you can buy it in the market, but it's very difficult to find. Okay. And secondly, is to use the open source. But the open source has limited. You only support by the community and also from the developers. That's all. And if you let's say the evidence has the IDE, for example, in the hard disk, the old interface for the hard disk, the IDE. You need to find the connector, and it's very difficult now to find it in the market. Okay, the final is about the evaluation. In evaluation, there is the issue about the online or offline. If online, you need to provide the to control the students. For example, you need to ask the student to turn on the camera so you can see if the students cheat or not. But if it's offline, you need to provide the proctor. And secondly, about the plagiarism check, you need to make sure the student has different case, different evidence, different case, and different the questions. This is to make sure there is no plagiarism in the class. And finally, there is the certificate and also the continuing education. Okay, in GSCP, in our certification, in internal certification, we ask the student to always update their knowledge. They need to attend, for example, the some conference. Maybe they need to write some books. Maybe they need to include in the social chat about their knowledge. For every 3 years, they need to renew their certificate by, for example, get into the examination. So that's all for the hacking and forensic teaching. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Oh, there's not many questions. Oh, okay. Sure.